Update. Am I the a-hole for buying my daughter a locked storage bin? Original post. I, 53 male, have a daughter, 17 female, who I recently bought this big storage container for that has a lock. The reason being, our daughter has a job and likes buying her own food and snacks for herself. The problem is that her mom invites her aunt, uncle, and cousins over all the time, and ever since she started buying her snacks and leaving them in the pantry, they'd eat them without consulting her. She's asked them many times to not eat them, but they don't listen. For reference, she likes to order snacks from other countries as a way to broaden her horizons. She's also linguistically gifted and liked to try and read labels to help expand her vocabulary. These snacks can take weeks to get after she orders them again, and by then, her current snacks are gone. My wife didn't do anything, saying that since our daughter kept them in the pantry there for everyone, she then moved them to her room, and her cousins would go in when she wasn't and take them. So, I went to a hardware store and bought a big container with a lock, and for extra measure, I bought extra locks and drilled holes so that they could be used. Our daughter cried and thanked me because it was pretty expensive and not something she could afford. Of course, the cousins went to get more snacks and threw a fit when they saw it and realized the snacks were in there. They told their parents and they told my wife, and she's not happy with me, saying that our daughter should share her snacks with family and she's being selfish and will get fat. Our daughter is incredibly fit, does multiple sports and exercises all the time. She's far from unhealthy. I told my wife she could order her own, and our daughter was happy to tell her where to order them. But she didn't like that either, and told her that the chest needs to go, and that I should have consulted her in buying the bin in the first place. Am I the a-hole? Edit. The relatives are our daughter's cousins and aunt and uncle. They are my sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and nephews, and my sister-in-law is my wife's sister to clear up any confusion. The pantry is also fully stocked with food. No one is going hungry and just eating our daughter's snacks because they have to. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Your wife is well out of line. How dare she take your daughter's things? Your daughter works for these treats. Your wife has no right to steal them, and has no right to advocate her other family members steal them. Also, the fat remark. Just, you did the right thing. You are not the a-hole. It cannot be emphasized enough how important it is that Opie's daughter has a parent like him in her corner, especially since his wife clearly isn't. Yeah, hijacking comment for Opie to see this. Maybe also get a lock for your daughter's room? Why are they allowing themselves in when she is not there? That's not okay. Not the a-hole, but I would take it a step further and get a deadbolt lock for her room to lock it when she isn't there. That way, the cousins can't get into her room, and we'll have something else to complain about. I'll consider that. Thank you for the suggestion. They've always had a nasty habit of going in her room and snooping. It would be a good move. It would give everyone involved a message that your daughter has a right to privacy, and to have her boundaries respected. Why does your wife think it's okay to openly steal from her? Sounds abusive. I have also tried telling them all that they should respect our daughter's privacy, and that she works hard to buy herself snacks. My wife is of the belief that since our daughter is under her roof, she needs to share anything she buys with the family. Yeah, that's super crappy to disallow your daughter from having boundaries or personal possessions. It tells your daughter that others have a right to what is hers, which can lead to self-esteem issues, and people taking advantage of her even after she moves out. This behavior from your wife needs to be stopped yesterday. This is a hill to die on. I agree, and we'll have a conversation with her about this. It's become a big issue. And now for the update. My daughter and my brother-in-law both found my post separately. First, my daughter, who was sent it via a friend who knew the situation. She confronted me about it, and we had a very long talk where she admitted that when I'm away, her mom doesn't treat her well, and often puts her cousins/my nephews above her, telling her she should be understanding because we're far better off than them. I was aware that they would occasionally sneak into her room to take things or play, but apparently they go as far as to wait for her to leave for a few minutes, run in and grab what they want. Her mom also makes a lot of comments about her weight. For reference, our daughter takes after me, being taller with some more masculine features such as broader shoulders, while my wife is small and petite. There are many other things I won't say here that my wife has said to our daughter. I didn't bring it up at first, and consulted my wife in buying a lock for our daughter's door, which she opposed, even if our daughter said she'd buy it with her own money. She started yelling about how under her roof our daughter has to abide by her rules. The house is technically mine, not hers. She stormed off and immediately began telling all our friends and her sister and brother-in-law that I was being controlling and awful to her. The brother-in-law then found a first post and sent it to her, leading to another argument where she accused me of airing our dirty laundry to the world, instead of trying to communicate despite me trying to and getting shut down. Once she stormed off, I packed a bag as did my daughter, and we went to a hotel. Yes, we brought the snack bin, where we have been the past few days while I find a good divorce lawyer. My wife is still spreading lies about me, claiming I try to kick her out, and all sorts of other lies. I'm finished with her. I don't care what she says. I'll be divorcing her and paying as much alimony as she wants, so that I can keep my daughter safe from her. I don't care about a house or anything else. She can keep it all, and let her sister, brother-in-law, and nephew smooch off her until she's penniless. I'm sorry, this is not a happy update, and I doubt I will make one after this. Thank you for opening my eyes, Reddit. You're a stellar parent. Good luck. Definitely. When I read the original post, I thought they already were divorced. Don't know why I read it that way. I too am sorry to see the marriage end, but it sounds like it's for the best. Your house? Fight for it. Your daughter is safe while she's with you. But if that is legally your house, then you need to reclaim it and kick the lot of them out. Don't give it up so easily. My thinking too. Great dad and all. But the way I understand it, if you leave the house, you're signaling you don't want it legally. It's your house. With your daughter to testify with how her own mother treats her, no judge is going to award her the house. Get the divorce attorney and document everything your wife is saying. Also, you may be able to use your post to back up your claims of how unhinged your wife is. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother that I think he made a wrong choice regarding what happened to his daughter and current wife? This happened 6 months ago, but it still have a big impact on my brother. 7 months ago, my niece, 19 female, was involved in a big car accident. Several surgeries were performed and she was in a critical condition for a couple of days. It was really scary, and she was admitted to the hospital Monday morning. She was my brother's daughter from his ex-wife. At the same time, his current wife was at the end of her pregnancy. She was in labor and entered the hospital Thursday morning of the same week. She really wanted my brother to be by her side through the whole thing, and it took around 16 hours. My niece woke up for the first time Thursday at noon. There were her mom, my girlfriend, and I. She asked for my brother, but he wasn't there. Then she woke up again in the evening, but he still wasn't there. So the first time he saw her was Friday morning. Everything seemed fine and we were all happy. However, after she was discharged from the hospital to her mom's house, she completely removed my brother from her life. She doesn't answer his calls or even talk to him when he visits. Last week, he came to me losing his mind. He told me that his niece told him, "Why do you even care? I woke up from my deathbed and I didn't find you. Nothing should have been more important than staying by your daughter's side when she was almost dying." At the same time, his relationship with his current wife is also strained due to this, so he asked me to give my honest opinion about what he did. I told him that I think he made a wrong decision, and his daughter should have been a priority. But to be fair, he had a very bad luck that the only hours he was there is when she woke up. He got angry and left. Am I the a-hole? Should I have told him that I agree with him so he doesn't feel more guilt? Now for the top comments. This was a lose-lose situation. He made a gamble and lost. As a parent, your child needs you. As a spouse, your spouse needs you. How do you choose? He was there but not when she could see him. At the same time, based on her reaction, there's some other stuff going on in the background that's not being said here. I can't give an opinion without knowing more backstory between them. If the wife and niece would both be equally distraught by his absence, then the brother's decision was a prudent choice. If he was with a daughter, then he was guaranteed to miss his wife giving birth. Whereas if he was with his wife, there was only a chance that his daughter would wake up while he was gone. There also is a decent chance that he would be there when his daughter woke up regardless, unless he was sleeping in her hospital room, which is a possibility but not forever. Not the a-hole. I understand wanting to be there to support your wife and wanting to see your baby being born, but that child will never remember his being there. But your niece will never forget him not being there when she awoke after nearly dying. I'm really shocked by the wife. I can't imagine keeping someone from their child's side when they were on the brink, and to force him to stay through the entire labor? Yeah, I can't blame your niece for needing space. I don't know how you come back from this. If your brother didn't want to hear your honest opinion, he shouldn't have asked you for it. I mean, birth can become a life or death situation at a moment's notice, whether for the mom or the baby. If it was her first baby, and especially if there were any complications / it was a high-risk pregnancy, I can kind of understand wanting him there and him feeling obligated to be there. What if she needed him to advocate for her? What if something went wrong? Birthing a baby can be a really scary experience depending on the circumstances. It's not just about seeing your child be born. I just feel like he was in a no-win situation. Can become. There's no question that childbirth can become a life or death situation. But his other daughter was in an actual life or death situation. Or at least that's how she perceives it. And that's how it reads. Not an easy dilemma for sure. But what's a husband going to do in a medical situation? I mean, really, what will he offer aside from comfort? This way, he chose to comfort his girlfriend / wife, who only had the potential to need it, over his daughter who certainly needed it. No a-holes here. I was that woman. I had an easy pregnancy and the birth went great. Until it didn't. My first child had been a C-section, the second normal delivery. And second was coming out. He got caught in some scar tissue causing me to hemorrhage. I did die on the table. And my husband had to make traumatic decisions in the spur of the moment. It was terrifying. Luckily, I survived. Without him there to make decisions, when seconds counted, I could have stayed dead. And my 2-year-old and newborn children would have been without a mother. His other daughter was in a coma. He had no idea she was going to wake up. In my situation, if he had been with his daughter instead of me, I would have not recovered. He was in a tough position. However, there was nothing he could actually do for his comatose daughter except watch her. He could help his wife. No a-holes here. I get why the daughter feels the way she does, but I don't think she's being fair. Dad was in an untenable situation and made the best decision he could at a time. Hopefully with time, daughter will realize that. I was wondering about this being possibly not an a-hole or no a-holes here until you said this. He had very bad luck that the only hours he was there she woke up. So he was there, just not when she was awake. The guy has a new kid being born and is juggling that with a kid unconscious with no telling when she would be waking up. And you come up with this answer? Yeah, you're the a-hole. Last story. Am I the a-hole for calling my sister cruel for her tattoo idea? Sister is 28, I'm 26 male. My sister Nora has always had a strained relationship with our parents, especially my mom. I am clearly not privy to the reasons because things are fine with me and my parents. When Nora went to college, she met her creative writing professor as a freshman and they got close immediately. They would do a lot together and worked closely on a few different writing projects. Nora never specifically said this, but it was obvious to anyone who saw them interact that they had a substitute mother/daughter type relationship. Which hurts my mom a lot to see. I always thought she'd grow out of it or that the professor would move on, but 10 years later they were still very close. About a month ago, the professor died unexpectedly and it devastated Nora. She was really depressed over the holidays, which of course was all in front of my mom. It was a difficult reminder that Nora loved the professor as a mother way more than she ever loved my mom as a mother. She still talks to my parents and stuff, and they don't fight or anything, but Nora's very distant and doesn't tell them anything about her life beyond the bare minimum. My mom tried to comfort Nora, but Nora was doing her distant thing and didn't want comfort. Something unfortunate that happened to Nora is that when she got the call that she died, she was brewing tea, and in the shock of the news, she spilled boiling water on her arm which burned her kind of badly on her wrist. I think the burn was like on the borderline of 2nd and 3rd degree, and definitely still looked pretty rough during the holidays. Nora said it was especially hard because in addition to the physical pain, every time she looks at it, she is reminded of the moment she found out the prof died, which I totally get. I was on FaceTime with Nora, and she said she talked to her tattoo artist friend who said that the burn should be able to heal well enough to get a tattoo over it. Nora then excitedly told me about her idea, which is a type of flower that a prof gave her a bouquet of for her undergrad graduation. My mom was so embarrassed that day, because she didn't get Nora flowers, but the prof did and Nora was parading them around so happy, and it was a reminder of their connection. I guess Nora and the prof exchanged these flowers for every special occasions like birthdays, etc. So now she wants to get a decent-sized tattoo in a highly visible spot of something that will remind everyone of the prof. I told Nora that this seemed really cruel to my mom, who already feels cast aside, and like she's in exile from Nora. And that's without a constant permanent reminder. Nora kind of scoffed and said, "I can't believe you think you have the right to tell me not to do this," called me an a-hole and hung up. And is still not talking to me except for a very brief text saying congrats for a promotion I just got. My parents aren't commenting. My dad said I should have just kept quiet even though he agrees, and my mom made no comment, but seemed grateful I stood up for her. I feel like I was just being protective of my mom. But am I the a-hole? What you have described is the golden child and the scapegoat child, you being the golden child. Nora didn't get what she needed from her own mother, and was incredibly fortunate that another stepped in and took on that role. Take your blinders off and see. Ask your sister if she felt second best growing up, and be open and silent when and to what she tells you. Yes, you're the a-hole. You're the a-hole. Agree. Not much else to say other than it's okay for people to have meaningful connections to humans in life who aren't their parents, and honor them in that connection however they want. It's not her problem to deal with her mother's pain or feeling left out. You're the a-hole. Mind your business. Your mom being embarrassed because she forgot to buy her daughter flowers is her own damn problem. We can all tell you were mommy's golden child from this post. You're a poor sister. I don't even think mom forgot anything, to be honest. She didn't bother getting her daughter anything, and then got mad that someone else did notice and value daughter's hard work. Info: my mom was so embarrassed that day because she didn't get Nora flowers. Why the heck are you so concerned about protecting this woman's feelings?